It's 5 o'clock on your Tuesday, and this is WKYT This Morning. The trial of a man accused of killing a UK employee continues today. We're live looking ahead to the day in court.
Plus, Lexington police are still looking for a driver who they say nearly hit an officer after a traffic stop.
And Kentucky American Water asking for a rate increase. The details about today's public hearing on that issue. Coming up on WKYT This Morning.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning and thanks for joining us on this Tuesday morning. I'm Meredith Jones in for Rebecca Smith.
I'm Bill Bryant. It's so good to have you with us here on WKYT This Morning, where Kentucky mornings start. And we have had a bit of a rainy beginning here this morning.
We did. I woke up to some, lightning kind of flashing through the windows and heard some thunder. I thought, oh, goodness.
Yeah, but the good thing is all that's clearing out, and we're set for that good week that we've been talking about. Let's check in with meteorologist Micah Harris.
Yeah, we literally have 3 cells out there as they're passing on through. And when they do, you are going to get some rumbles of thunder out of this, especially down toward McKee. It's moving out of McKee as we speak, so another 5 minutes or so in all of McKee. But Boonville heads up Highway 1130 corridor. That's where you're going to be seeing some really heavy downpours here any minute. Salyersville, you're next in line in about 5 minutes. But by the time we start to see that sunrise, all that stuff looks to move on out. So it's going to take a little bit of time, another couple of hours. And then by the afternoon, 77 degrees, really nice weather in store the next few days. We go down to the 70s, and then we hit right back up to the 90s there for the weekend. I'm going to talk all about that in your 7-day coming up.
All right, see you then. Thank you.
Well, this morning, the trial of a man accused of killing a Lexington man and stuffing his body in a barrel continues.
Police say Mark Taylor murdered Alex Johnson 2.5 years ago. WKYT's Mark Barber is joining us. He's live in our studio this morning with what we can expect today. Mark?
Good morning, Bill. It is day 2 of Mark Taylor's trial, and today we expect to hear from Alex Johnson's girlfriend. We also expect to hear from Timothy Ballard. He's a key witness for the prosecution because he kidnapped Johnson. Ballard has agreed to testify against Taylor, his former coworker, as part of his plea deal. Ballard admits he kidnapped Johnson, but he says Taylor beat the 32-year-old to death. During yesterday's opening statements, the prosecution established that Johnson was a drug dealer and he was killed for his marijuana and money. They told jurors that the UK chef was going to quit selling marijuana, but he didn't get the chance before he was killed. His mother was the first person to take the stand yesterday, and she said she did not know her son was a drug dealer. Prosecutors are starting to outline their evidence against Taylor. They say they have proof he destroyed his car.
When Mr. Rodriguez asked the defendant what happened in the car, the defendant told him, "You don't want to know." Mr. Rodriguez then took the car over to Baker Iron and Metal on December the 30th of 2013, and the car was crushed and sold for scrap.
Now, the judge thinks this high-profile trial could last 7 more days. Coming up on WKYT News at 5:30, we'll explain what Johnson's girlfriend heard the night he went missing and how that could play into her testimony if she takes a stand today. Bill?
Mark, thank you. A man now charged with killing a Laurel County couple last year says he is not guilty. Bradley Lawson was arraigned yesterday on murder, robbery, and some other charges. He was already in federal custody on drug charges. Police say Lawson killed Donnie and Sharon Jackson during a violent robbery. Court records show Lawson has faced robbery charges before and served 2 years in prison after a 2010 robbery.
And I have a lot of confidence in what my client tells me, so we're looking forward to our opportunity to hear what they've got.
The judge set a $500,000 bond for Lawson in the double murder case. A man charged in a double shooting in southern Kentucky will be facing a judge later this morning. 38-year-old Brian Bunch is charged with attempted murder after investigators say he shot 2 women at a home on Bailey Hollow Connector Road in Knox County last week. Police still don't know what led up to the shooting.
Lexington police are still looking for a driver who nearly hit an officer after a traffic stop. It happened near the intersection of 2nd and Ray Streets last night. Police say the officer pulled over a black Charger because its temporary tag wasn't visible. Well, as the officer approached the car, police say the person inside drove off, causing the car to nearly hit the officer. The officer was not injured. Police know who they're looking for, and they say that person will be charged with fleeing police. Well, we've learned the names of those arrested after robbing 3 businesses and leading Lexington police on a chase. Police arrested 2 men after the chase ended in Woodford County. Adondes Padino is charged with 3 counts of robbery, and Jorge Zuminga is facing multiple charges, including wanton endangerment and resisting arrest. Police say a 17-year-old girl who was also in the vehicle has not been charged. The newborn was released to relatives, and she was not injured.
Lexington police are trying to figure out how thousands of dollars worth of rings were stolen from a jewelry store in Fayette Mall. It happened at the Pandora store. Police say a man and a woman walked into the store, then left, but later returned carrying a bag from another store. Police say the woman bought something and left, followed by the man. Moments later, police say Pandora employees noticed a tray of rings was missing from a display case. Police say the tray had 200 to 300 rings on it, worth about $20,000. We have some new information this morning about the federal case against an Eastern Kentucky police chief and his girlfriend. Lynch Police Chief Jackie Stewart and Reddy Morris pleaded not guilty to drug and weapons charges. A grand jury indicted them last week after a federal investigation into drugs being sold in the area. Also, the mayor of the Harlan County town suspended Stewart without pay. Stewart and Morris are scheduled to go on trial on August 9th.
Police officers in Central Kentucky are still trying to figure out just how one of their inmates escaped. The Garrett County Sheriff says his deputies were taking 12 inmates from the courthouse back to the Lincoln County Jail, but he says inmate David Hall used a key to unlock his shackles and handcuffs, then kicked out the back window of the transport van and ran off. The sheriff says Lincoln County deputies caught Hall less than an hour later, hiding beside a nearby trailer park.
Well, Kentucky American Water Company is asking for a rate increase, and the change could affect many customers in Central Kentucky.
You can voice your opinion on the rate increase today in a public meeting. WKYT's Mike Byer is live with what you need to know about the meeting. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Meredith. The Kentucky Public Service Commission is holding a public meeting tonight on a request to increase water utility bills for more than 100,000 customers in and around Lexington. It'll be held at the Bluegrass Community and Technical Colleges Conference Center on the Leestown Road campus. Kentucky American Water is asking for a rate increase that would add about $6 to the average customer's monthly water bill. The approval would increase its annual revenue by about $13 million per year, or about 15%. The company says it needs to recover the cost of system improvements and major construction projects that have been finished since the last rate adjustment in 2013. Now, there will be 2 parts to the meeting. The informational part will begin at 5:30. The public comment portion will follow right after at 6:30. Once again, the meeting will be held at BCTC's Conference Center on the Leestown Road campus. At the live desk, Mike Byer, WKYT.
Governor Matt Bevin's administration is now accepting nominations for Kentucky Colonials again. Last month, the governor temporarily stopped issuing Kentucky Colonial commissions because he wanted some time to look over the application process for the honorary title. But state leaders announced a new online form has been created to make Kentucky Colonial nominations. We have a link to that form at WKYT.com. The title is the highest honor bestowed by a Kentucky governor.
And the Kentucky Colonel was a colonel, right? It was set up.
I'm telling you, my eyes and my mouth.
I was trying to slide that in there.
Kentucky Colonel, thank you.
It's Kentucky Colonels. But they were created in the 1930s by Governor Ruby Laffoon. 85,000 people have gotten the title over the years, but then they've also been awarded to at least one dog, and there have been some other, maybe shenanigans with it all. So they're now going to streamline the process some. Time this morning is coming up on 5:09 WKYT this morning. We're just getting started.
You may want to think twice before co-signing a loan. A new report has the breakdown on who pays most of the bill. That's ahead on WKYT this morning.
And one woman in Florida is making the best of her state's heavy rain. She showed folks her mermaids how they handle a tropical storm. That story's coming up after Micah's forecast.
We have some showers, a couple of rumbles of thunder sliding on through. You can see it's not really much out there, but that pushes through and really nice weather ahead. I'm going to show you that in your forecast coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
We actually have a couple of rumbles of thunder outside, and when I say a couple, I literally mean a couple of rumbles of thunder as this front's passing on through. We talked about this yesterday. This is not a very potent front, and you were going to get into the night and see a couple of rumbles of thunder. Here you go. Let's start off with what's going on over in the east, and you can see Salyersville getting in on the action right now. Yeah, you can get a rumble out of that, but really that's just a heavy downpour, and that passes on through. Not much going on in Campton, just some light showers across the Mountain Parkway. Jackson, you're next in line here, and just about 5 minutes if you're not seeing it already. It's moving out of Beattyville, but Boonville still getting in on the action as you have that rumble of thunder just to the south of you. It did roll right through downtown Boonville, and this is all heading south. So south of Jackson, you guys are next in line. Hazard, it's going to be close. We'll see if it clips you, but as of right now, looks like it should go just north of you or through downtown. So it's one or the other. So Howard Rogers Parkway right through Hazard, heads up. Columbia, here's that storm I was talking about back towards 65 just about 30 minutes ago. And that looks like it will definitely roll through northern portions of Columbia. If you're sitting north, that's where the best bet of seeing a couple of those rumbles of thunder pass on through. Downtown, you're getting in on the mix just a little bit, but the heaviest should roll just to the north of downtown with that rumble of thunder. Remember, none of this severe storms, none of these are very strong storms, but you could get some gusty winds as they pass on through. And once it does, look, by 8 a.m. should be long gone. By the afternoon, we're at 77 degrees. Really nice looking day, really nice feeling day. I will tell you this, once we hit the afternoon hours, there is a very slight chance of rain. And that's for the far northeastern zones, up toward, say, Moorhead, and even go farther toward the north in that Vanceburg. Those places right through there, Ashland area. That's where you could see a possible passing shower, but that's it. So most of us stay dry. We go off into the night and into tomorrow morning. We may end up in the 40s tomorrow morning. Upper 40s, lower 50s expected. And that's a really nice feel for this time. Then we get off through the next few days. Let's talk about your muggy meter, because it's been oppressive. It's been tropical the past couple of weeks, really. And now we're bringing it below that humid level. And so we get down into these pleasant conditions the next few days. Today through your Thursday, look and feel really, really nice. Now, Friday off into your weekend, that's when things change for the worse. We're at 84 degrees there on Friday. If you have any plans, know you could have a couple of rumbles of thunder. None of that's a washout. And then we head towards your weekend. Boy, that will jump out on the screen right there. 90 degrees coming in on Saturday, Sunday at 92. These are hot temperatures for this time of year, because typically we're there right around 80 degrees to about 83, depending on where you live. And now we're talking about 10 degrees higher than that. I mean, we go from the 70s, feeling really good, feeling great about ourselves, and then here comes Mother Nature blowing on in here, 90 degrees, 92 there on Sunday. It's going to be a totally different feel from the next few days to the weekend. Totally different.
Going to be a run-up, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Right, thank you. Time this morning is 5:15.
Well, Tropical Storm Colin continues to drench parts of the southeast.
And while most people try to avoid floodwaters, one young woman in Florida took advantage of the heavy rains, dressed as a mermaid. The young woman just got there right in the water. There she was lying down, waving to the cars as they drove by. She says she was promoting the custom-made silicone mermaid tails, which are sold by Nation. That's a company, by the way, out of Tampa. So a little promotional event there.
I imagine as she's just greeting people as they're driving by. Hi.
Right, yeah,
What is she doing? They're probably thinking out there.
Well, attention getting, right?
Yeah.
5:16 now on WKYT this morning. More news coming right up.
When we return, we'll have a look at your money.
A warning for anyone thinking of co-signing a loan, and an update to the Fortune 500 list. I'm Brooke Silva Braga in New York. Those stories and more coming up in Money Watch.
Welcome back to WKYT this morning, and a good morning to you once again. It's 5:19. If you're looking to co-sign a loan with someone, a new report shows why you might want to think twice before signing.
Plus, ticket prices are jumping on Broadway to see Hamilton. Brooke Silva Braga has the latest on your money.
The market took Fed Chair Janet Yellen's comments to mean interest rates won't go up, at least for now, and stocks rose yesterday, the Dow gaining 113 points, the Nasdaq up 26. You may want to think twice before co-signing a loan. A report from creditcards.com finds 38% of co-signers had to pay some or all of the bill when the main borrower did not. 28% saw a drop in their credit score as a result. More than a quarter of co-signers said the experience had damaged their relationship with the person they co-signed for. The latest edition of the Fortune 500 shows that most of America's biggest companies had slumping sales last year. Energy companies were hardest hit. Walmart easily stays atop the list with $482 billion in revenue, followed by ExxonMobil and Apple. The star of Broadway smash Hamilton is leaving the cast next month, and tickets for Lin-Manuel Miranda's final performance, well, they'll be pricey. On the online marketplace StubHub, the cheapest ticket all the way in the back is going for $2,000. The best seats are yours for about $7 grand each. Or you could just listen to the Broadway cast recording. That's only $19. And that's your Money Watch. For more, log on to CBSMoneyWatch.com. In New York, I'm Brooke Silva-Braga.
Take your pick there as to ways to see Hamilton. Our time this morning is 5:21, and we have a lot more news coming up for you on your Tuesday morning.
That's right, your sports is on its way next.
Before you know it, the UK U of L football game will be here. Oh, wait, it's played at the end of the season now. Well, yesterday at the cocktail party prior to today's Governor's Cup, a lot of people weighed in. Should the game be played at the beginning of the year or at the end of the year? We're also talking about Brad Calipari, the newest addition to the UK basketball roster. That's next.
We have 2 or 3 rumbles of thunder outside early this morning. One is down toward Columbia, rolling through Columbia, heading toward northern portions of Russell County. Somerset, more than likely, it'll at least come close to you. I don't know if it'll actually roll through downtown. As of right now, the trajectory of this actually takes it just to the south of you here in about 30-45 minutes. That's something to watch out for. One rolling out of Owsley County right into, say, Buckhorn and far north and northwestern portions of Perry County. Heads up for that, and also some showers rolling through Jackson there and Breathitt County as well. Temperatures are in the 60s. You're not really feeling that cooler air just yet, but wait for that front to pass all the way through. By the afternoon, a really nice feel, 77 degrees, a really nice looking day too. As we're going to be looking at the next few days with some 70s and then 90s for the week, and I'll show you that in your 7-day in just a few minutes. First, let's check out sports, see what's going on.
The last game of the football season is a long way off, but the annual UK U of L Governor's Cup luncheon is later today in Frankfort. Now, last night at the Governor's Mansion, the coaches, former players, and this year's honorees gathered for the cocktail party and a charity auction. Those honored last night were former coaches Rich Brooks and John L. Smith, former players Deion Branch, Jeremy Jarman, Jim Kovach, and Mark Sanders. Several of those we spoke to said they liked the change of playing the football game at the end of the season.
I got ripped pretty good for wanting to change the game till later in the season, because most of the rivalry games I'd ever been associated with were at the end of the year, and certainly with the league season being over for both teams and having this at the end of the season, it's a huge football game.
Right now, at the end of the year, that's where the rival game should be, at the end of the year. So, yeah, we should be like every other big-time program, big-time state, and we've got a big-time rivalry in the state of Kentucky.
You know, you want to kind of put it in the mix with all the other major rivalries. You got the Auburn, Alabama, the Florida State, Florida games, Georgia, Georgia Tech. So I feel that it's only right that we do have the game at the end.
Got to be honest, as a fan, I want to see it at the beginning of the year. Gives us something to talk about this summer. John Calipari will be coaching his son in the coming season. The new players reporting over the weekend. Brad Calipari started at LCA, then finished his prep career at the McDuffie School in Massachusetts last summer. The younger Calipari played for the Kentucky Travelers Basketball Club, averaging 3 points in about 10 minutes per game. He can really shoot the three-pointer. Here's what Cal had to say about coaching his son. I'm excited for Brad. I'm so proud of how hard he's worked to get to this stage. Brad chose to go to prep school on his own, and it ended up being a great decision. It was also his decision to be part of this team. With that said, I'm looking forward to coaching my son. Adolph Rupp did it, Eddie Sutton did it, Tubby Smith, and now John Calipari. That's a look at sports. Have a great day.